Hey everyone, welcome. I am Arcblight, and in this video I wanted to talk about Outriders New Horizon, and if this update is enough to save the game. So starting off, all of the updates specifically will be down in the details below. I'm going to talk about the major ones that stood out to me, and whether or not I think they were enough for the game to come back to life, or if it was too little too late. So some of the big changes that stood out to me the most were the fact that in the expeditions, the timer on them is now optional. So you can beat the expedition with no timer on, and no matter how long it takes you, you're still going to get the full benefits. This makes it so you don't have to go with the top damage dealing builds for your class. Instead, you can mess around with a little bit more of support style builds or survival builds, and slowly make your way through the expedition without feeling guilty about losing out on any of the rewards or letting down your teammates. I think this is a huge improvement. In my past review video, that's actually one of the biggest complaints that I had. The only issue now, at least for me, is I've gotten so used to how the game is that it's very hard to change my build away from a damage dealing one and to go with survival. Now that's more of a me problem, but it's one thing that I have been struggling with. So what I'm gonna have to do is just bite the bullet, make a new build, fully test it out, and see if it's fun or not. Other things that they added to the game are 4 new expeditions, which I've played each one of them so far, and they're pretty good. They feel just like the other expeditions do. They feel like they were built for the game. They take a decent amount of time to get through. There's some very challenging fights in there, which I definitely appreciated. But overall, it wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't something where I was now going out of my way. I wanted to play those levels over and over and over. They just kind of fit in with all of the other expeditions, which is still really good because it gives us more content, but it doesn't feel like there's any new things to strive for specifically. You're still kind of doing the same loop of if you're missing out on mods or gear with stats that you need specifically, you're just pushing expeditions over and over and over to try to get those, and then when you get those, you're still doing the expeditions, just now you're probably doing them more efficiently or more effectively, and that's about it. It feels like there isn't this big overarching, like, man, when I get fully geared up for this, I'm going to go and push that, and I'm going to get really awesome rewards. I would say that you're kind of doing that to do Eye of the Storm, but that feels a little hit or miss with that. Eye of the Storm is still pretty challenging, but me and 2 other friends went through and we cleared it with minimal setup and minimal strategy. And at the end, they also have another change where you can choose 1 legendary out of 3 random options that they give you, which is definitely really cool. It's nice to have options right in front of you and you get to make the decision on which one of those you want to take back to the base. But it didn't feel like it was enough for somebody who disliked a lot of the game beforehand. I feel like these changes aren't going to make those people come back. I think people who already really like the game are going to appreciate these changes, but I think it's going to be a very small amount of the population that actually comes back for anything that resembles a full-time main game kind of playing. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate everything that they did, and for me, it worked. I'm back and playing. I don't know for how long, but I'm definitely enjoying it for the moment. There's a bunch of other changes too. I like the idea that they rebalanced a lot of the other skills that were weaker than the main ones. So they buffed those instead of nerfing all the ones that we're enjoying. But I feel like even with the buffs to that, I'm not sure how many new build variations are really going to pop out because we still have the top damage dealing ones out there. I don't think a lot of those have really changed all that much. Maybe 1 or 2 mods kind of got swapped out, but the feel of the playstyle is going to be pretty much the same. But all in all, I think this is really good. I've also heard rumors that there's going to be a much bigger DLC coming in the future. That I'm excited for. If they add new things to strive for, new content, I feel like that could bring some more life back to the game. Right now it feels like with a decent enough amount of effort you can clear the highest difficulty content in the game, and then that's it. You're just doing that over and over and over and over again. I feel like they should have maybe 5 expedition difficulty tiers higher so that people can push for something that maybe is close to impossible, but you can build a strategy around it, get a group together for that. You really have to focus down on like a survival build or something like that to make it through the expeditions. Just something so difficult that there's always something more to strive for. And I know a lot of people might not like that concept. A lot of people like going into the highest difficulty and laying waste to everything as fast as possible and just feeling really good about themselves. And I get that. I like to do that a lot in games as well. But I still feel like there's got to be this big, eye on the prize type thing to look forward to. Another huge thing I'm a big fan of is the Transmog system that they added. Going in, having no cost to do it, and being able to change all the pieces of gear that you have to look a different way is really cool. Only thing that sucks for me anyway is I dismantled so much gear, and now you have to reacquire that gear or already have it in your stash or your inventory for the transmog to actually unlock. And so that means I have to do a lot of farming to get that collection, all the different style gear that I've had. But that also gives me something to focus on, something to strive for. At least I have these little things that I can go and look for. Tiago being changed, so now he can be re-rolled and you can have different legendaries show up every time you re-roll it. It's a little bit costly. It feels like I've got to do a lot just to refresh it, and then when I refresh it and see nothing that I like, I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. I got to do a bunch more expeditions to be able to refresh it again. And then when I see something I like, I got to do a couple more expeditions to get the currency to then buy that item. But that also, what I see as like a little bit of a frustration is also more reason to keep doing expeditions, to keep playing. There's a little bit more to strive for if you're still missing out on some of the gear. The only thing that kind of goes against that is if you were playing a lot before this update, then it seems like you're not really looking for anything else. You kind of have the best of the best, and if you are going to look for something else, it's just to have like a meme build go on, or to try out maybe like a support build or something like that, which isn't bad, but there might be people who are already burnt out, and when they come back, they don't really have new things that they personally want to go focus on. 4 new expeditions are great and all, but it's not, life-changing storylines going on or big epic boss battles, even though the spider is pretty cool, but they just kind of pulled that from the main story. So is this enough to bring the game completely back to life? If you look at like Twitch directories for streaming, it's pretty low population count compared to many other titles out there, but also that can be really good for people that fit into that niche. And if you're having fun with the game, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm enjoying what they've done. I appreciate what they've done, but I know I can't convince a lot of my friends to come back because they already have this set opinion, and these changes for them aren't enough for them to come back and be excited about. For me, different story. But that's the overall impression I just wanted to get out there for the game. I really hope they do more with this game. I think the game has a lot of potential. I just feel like they're really slow at pushing out new content and new things. But again, they say it's not a live service game, which kind of sucks. I feel like this game should be a live service game, constantly be updated and balanced and new things added and skins to get, weapons to get, whatever it might be. So yeah, overall, I like how everything played out, but this feels like an update that they should have had in like the 2nd month or 3rd month of the game release, not so far later on. But hopefully the new DLC will change a lot of that stuff. If they bring some new abilities to the table, maybe even new class, some new legendaries, stuff like that to get excited about, that would be really cool, and I would really appreciate that, and I would definitely come back to play that. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening to me ramble for a few minutes. If you agree or disagree, feel free to drop it in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you like the video. And also subscribe if you want more content from me in the future. I'm Arcblight, and as always everybody, thanks for watching.